Welcome to a special presentation of Sellout Crowd, Conversations with Coach. I'm Bob Stoops. I'm taking time to talk with my friends and colleagues in the sports world to get caught up and share some stories. But first, I want to say thanks to these sponsors, Rose Hill Builders, First Fidelity Bank, and Louis Bar and Grill. Today, I'm joined by Barry Trammell, local friend and associate with Sellout Crowd. Really somber week, Barry, I think, for all of Oklahoma and all of us who knew and were friends with Toby Keith passing away earlier this week. And, it's really difficult, just all of the people around this state and around the world that Toby affected and that we're friends with. And as you know, was an absolute loyal Sooner fan to the end, every single sport.
Yeah, Bob. And, for me, I think it took Toby's death for me to even realize the worldwide impact.
Oh, man.
We all know Toby from around ball games and, you guys spent a lot of time together, but just some of the people he impacted on a variety. I don't know if you saw Stephen Colbert's tribute the other night on CBS, just unbelievable tribute. And as Stephen Colbert said, he said, me and Toby Keith, it's the last pairing you would think would go together. But he said he taught me not to prejudge people. And I thought that was a fabulous tribute. And of course, Toby did so much for not just Oklahomans, but just people anywhere. We know him for a variety of his endeavors, but when we were talking earlier, just the USO tours that he went on, hundreds and hundreds of shows he performed for our troops. What do you remember talking to Toby about the USO tours?
Yeah, he was really proud of that. That the work that he did over there. I want to say it's over 400 shows. Someone said the other day that he had more USO tours than Bob Hope, if that's possible. So he was shot out over there in a helicopter. I mean, he would land at different bases. There might be 20 guys there. There might be 200. But if there was 20 guys, 10 guys, he'd perform for them. And just so special. And he really took a lot of pride in that. He loved the service members and wanted to give back to them. People don't realize he flies on his own dime all the way over there to Afghanistan and all these other places. Spends 2 weeks and doesn't get a nickel. If anything, it's money coming out of his pocket, given back to the troops and given back to the country, and was really special. And then all the work he does with the OK Kids Corral, he and Trisha as well, just really exceptional. The lives they affect, when kids are battling these different illnesses, they really do an incredible job at the OK Kids Corral also. And speaking of Stephen Colbert, everybody should watch his little tribute to Toby, which was amazing. He really captured Toby in a great way. But you talk about two direct opposite people, but they were great friends. In fact, I was lucky enough with Carol and I know Matt and Gina McMillan were close with Toby and Trish as well. We were able to go to Toby's induction into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. And we were there at the event, and it was incredible. And then I know, Toby, I got up and sang Clancy's Tavern, tribute to his grandmother. And but then Stephen Colbert is the one who introduced him, and of all people. So, and I know Toby was really, really proud. That's one of the, the big awards in his mind that he really cherished is the Songwriters Hall of Fame.
Yeah, I admit I'm not a country music fan, but I quickly realized years ago that Toby's talent for songwriting is really what elevates him among most artists of any genre. Not just a singer, not just a performer, but the guys who can actually write the music and put it on paper and allow other people to use it. That's the sign of of a real talent. You know, when you were fortunate, Bob, you got to spend a lot of time with Toby in a lot of different places, meet a lot of different kinds of people. You were talking about, earlier, a lot of the celebrities you got to hang out with because of him, and you even got to be with him some as he performed, including a memorable night. You're on the bus with him, and you realize it's about game time, and you thought maybe
Right.
I need to step out of the way.
Yeah, it was one of the early times of seeing him play, and of course around him a lot, and so we're on the bus, and of course we have a gang of people that are all out. Forget what venue it was at, maybe Chicago somewhere, and we're getting, Toby's like 5 minutes from going on stage, and I'm like, hey, let's get out of Toby's way here. I'm sure he's got to think a little bit or warm up or whatever. And Toby didn't need any warm up. He grabbed me, tapped me on the shoulder. He said, Bobby, he goes, just sit there and finish your beer. I'm gonna win tonight. He goes, there's no defense out there for me. And he just smiled and that was yes, the ear plugs, the sound things they wear in their ears, and he had them dangling there. And sure enough, 5 minutes later, he puts one in. He's walking down the bus, puts the other in, walks 10 yards over to the stage, goes right in, right on stage without one bit of warm up, and just kills it. Just an amazing talent, and could sing anything. So many times we'd be at an event or out at a restaurant or a bar or whatever it might be, and he's it's not a matter of if he's going to get up and sing. It's usually when he's going to get up and sing. And he could sing anything. He knows, he's like a lyric savant. He knows the words to all the rock songs or country songs or blues songs, and I can't, just countless times. A lot of time, one of my favorite. We saw him and all the time. He'd get up with Sammy Hagar at Cabo Wabo down in Cabo, uh, umpteen times, and it was always fun. And he and Sammy were really close friends, and fun to watch those two up on stage performing, and a lot of great times there. I remember Toby also tells the story of he's at Merle Haggard's, one of Merle's last events. And Merle was struggling, according to Toby, at that time, and had to use oxygen and had the tubes. And he had to perform this event because his band needed it. He had canceled a bunch of events and felt like his band needed it. So he was struggling through a concert. And Toby, of course, is right next to him off stage. And he knows Merle's struggling. So Toby goes walking out to help him, and got his guitar, and he gets to whispering and talking to Merle, and they're discussing. All right, I'm gonna help you out here. I'm gonna sing some songs and carry this for maybe a half hour, whatever it may be. So Merle goes, great. Tell me, which songs do you know? Like, which ones do you are you able to do? And he says, all of them. He goes, you don't need to worry about me. He goes, you just start it and I'll take it. And he played the whole show with Merle, and it was one of Merle's last shows, but they were good buddies. And it just shows you again his nature and the fact that he'd go out there and entertain anybody, at any time. And it just, again, how gifted he was is really amazing.
And of course, you guys got to spend a lot of time together, in leisure time, traveling, golfing, that kind of thing, including a memorable day at Cabo when you were on the golf course. Tell us about that.
Well, we're in between holes at Cabo del Sol, where Toby and Tricia play the most, and having a fun day. He and I, and we're just the two of us. We're golfing, and I don't know what hole it is, but it's about time to go into one of those little comfort huts where you get some food and you get some drinks. So we had to fill our cooler back up by this point. So we fill our cooler up, and in the meantime, while I'm in there, I noticed when we get back in the golf cart, I had a missed call from Steve Hatchell, who was the president of the College Football Hall of Fame. And the message was, Bob, I need to talk to you. Give me a call back when you can. And I thought, well, Steve Hatchell never calls me. So I said, Toby, I said, Big T, I said, I might be getting in. I missed a call from the College Hall of Fame. I might be getting in the Hall of Fame. He looked at me, smiled, and he was happy for me. He says, "Well," he goes, "Welcome to the club, buddy." So all the all the different Hall of Fames, of course,
Yeah.
he's in, and he is already at that time had already been in the Songwriters Hall of Fame, so which is the one that he cared about. So anyway, it was a funny moment that welcome to the club.
Yeah, he said Toby seemed to be the kind of guy who could jab his friends pretty good. You've been in the limelight for 25 years or longer than 30 years, whatever. And of course, you got close friends who don't care that you're, the Hall of Fame football coach. They'll zap you anytime they want to. But I would
Yep.
assume it's got to be pretty good for you to make relationships and friends with guys like Toby, who's not afraid to pop you and treat you sort of like just a guy that's one of their friends.
Yeah, no question. He was that way. Toby was, like I said, as world famous as he is. You talk about the most down to earth, good guy that just a good friend, a loyal friend to everybody, and then just me. I mean, you go out to Belmar and you're going to find 100 of them. He just had a way of making everybody feel important. You mattered to him. He always, would pick up a call or would return a call or a text. Funny, always, throw each other a joke here or there or something funny they found on the internet, whatever it might be. He was just genuine that way, and and yeah, he knew I was that way too. So we would jab each other, or whatever. We could laugh at each other, but he was big on that, laughing at him too. And again, just such a good natured person and down to earth and special that way.
Of course, before I've never asked you about this, but before you got to Oklahoma, like I said, I was not a country music fan. The first time I really became conscious and aware of Toby Keith is in 1994 when he comes out and plays in the Varsity-Alumni game, breaks his ankle,
Yeah.
and has to cancel a concert in Tulsa. Just first of all, just the craziness of a Varsity-Alumni game, just the thought of that makes me laugh today.
Hard to believe that happened.
Yeah, we're gonna have Jackson Arnold and all those guys go play against a bunch of guys from your 2010 team.
Yeah.
But did Toby ever talk about that crazy day? It's actually played at Norman High. They were doing renovations to Owen Field, and that game was actually played at Norman High School. Did he ever talk about that crazy day when he broke his ankle?
Yeah, just that he was all excited to play. I want to say it happened, I think he said, on the first play.
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
And it was bad. He said it hurt like hell, but luckily, he said he didn't really, because Toby was a big runner, jogging and all of that, and never bothered him down the road anyway. But yeah, he goes, my one time on the field with all the Sooners and only lasted a play. But yeah, and I don't know. Did he? I thought wanted to say he may have tried to play that night. It's still with the broken leg, but I'm not. I don't recall whether he did or not.
Well, the story was as they were hauling him off the field that day, he just said, "Hey, we're going to have to cancel that show in Tulsa." So
yeah,
he had that going. Toby's music and football intersected quite a bit, including the What Happens in Mexico video ended up involving the Sooners. Tell us about that.
Yeah, well, everyone, if you haven't seen Toby's music video, What Happens in Mexico Stays in Mexico. And the star of the music video is Matt McMillan, who worked in my office all my 18 years and also for Lincoln. So Matt was all our football operations, ran the whole building, and Toby and Matt was with us all the time at different events, or we always had a lot of fun together. And Matt's a character. If anyone who knows Matt knows that. So Toby wanted him to be the star of this video. And of course, the producers and all these people think he's out of his mind. You're going to have this, just your buddy that works at the football office, be the star of the music video that it's going to cost all this money. And Toby goes, oh, yeah. He goes, don't worry about my man. He goes, this is right up his alley. So sure enough, they have a standby also. They have a standby waiting to take over, thinking Matt isn't going to be able to handle this. Well, sure enough, Matt and Toby are out at the Clevelander. They do this down in Miami Beach. They're out late smoking cigars and having a drink late at night the night before shooting. So, of course, Toby sleeps in, but Matt's on the set at like 7 o'clock getting ready to go. And the first scene that they're going to shoot, he's in a Speedo in the morning on the beach in Miami, down there. So, sure enough, Toby comes sauntering in around noon, and he says, "So how's my boy doing?" That's my guy. The producer says, "Well, he's doing good." He goes, "We had to tone him down a little bit, but he's doing good." so sure enough, they use, and they also props. They use all his clothing. He's dressed kind of cheesy, just cheesy with the different outfits. And Matt has all these cheesy outfits for parties, for people to wear. So sure enough, the whole wardrobe through the whole video is all his own clothing. So if you haven't seen it, it's worth seeing. And he and Toby had a great time, had a lot of fun shooting the video and being down there in Miami Beach for a few days.
Of course, even after Toby got sick, his desire to still be around the Sooners and support the Sooners didn't flinch. A couple of games in particular. Of course, 21 Sooners go to the Alamo Bowl. Lincoln has gone to USC. OU needs a coach. You fill in as the interim coach. At the Alamo Bowl. It goes great. I think you're up, I don't remember, 24-3, whatever you were up at halftime. Tell us about seeing Toby down there at the halftime of the Alamo Bowl.
Yeah, Toby was so good to everybody, all the sports. I mean, he loved going to the baseball games, basketball. Everyone always see him sitting down there. He and Tricia, and then football, of course. But yeah, he came to the Alamo Bowl. In fact, I was up a little later than I usually would be before a game the night before with him. But we won't talk about all of that. But it kind of worked. So the next we didn't play till late the next night. But anyway, yeah, he's always down there. But I feel this big paw on my shoulder leaving the field. We're coming off the field after the first half. And we're up 30-3, I think it was. And Toby put an arm around me and he says, "Hey," he goes, "where the hell's this team been all year?" So, so I started chuckling. I said, "Well, T," I said, "we still got another half, buddy." So anyway, he was always great to have around. And anyway, he, like I said, for all the sports, he knew all the coaches and supported everybody. And just a big time Sooner. The way his love for all the sports and it isn't just football. He's a sports fanatic on everything. He followed it, knows baseball well, always knew everybody on basketball. I mean, he was invested, definitely.
Of course, last spring, you in your spring endeavor, coaching the Arlington Renegades of the XFL, you make the championship game. And you're on the sideline down in San Antonio, and lo and behold, here comes Toby Keith.
Yeah, Toby made it also the year before. It tells you, too, again, how loyal and good a friend. Again, not just to me. He was this way with everybody, supporting everybody as much as he could. And, yeah, sure enough, the day before the championship game for the XFL, we're getting ready to play the DC team, and he's got he got a big treatment that really, beats him up a little bit, and is one of his last treatments. And he was telling Matt McMillan, if he goes, "I'm not sure I'm going to be able to come," meaning if I'm up to it, and he said, and Matt's trying to tell him, not to worry about it. Look, you don't have to come to this. And Toby says, "Hey, listen, if I'm able to go, if I'm feeling it all up to it," he said, "I'm not going to miss our boy winning another championship." And sure enough, about an hour and a half before the game, I'm down on the field. I turn the corner, and coming down the tunnel is Toby and Tricia. They brought Carol with them, and Cale Gundy and his wife Christy. And sure enough, here they all come down on the field. And Toby, I could tell he was tired from that treatment, but sure enough, he's there. Hung around for the game, and then hung around after the game for about an hour and a half in the locker room celebrating with us. And again, it just tells you his commitment to his friends and his loyalty. He's special, no question.
Yeah, well, of course, you knew him a lot better than I did, but I was certainly aware of all of Toby's contributions. Got to know him somewhat over the years. Had great conversations after he helped launch Sellout Crowd,
Right?
and to me, he was this epic figure, this epic personality, but also just the kind of guy you might run into him at Van's Pig Stand. So, lots to admire about Toby Keith. Give us some last words, Bob, about when you think about this long-term friend.
Again, he meant so much to so many because they meant so much to him. Just the loyalty, it's tough and witty, and I mean, I tell you what, funny and witty is all get out. I mean, you talk about a really bright, smart guy. You just look at the lyrics to his songs. All of that. I get to thinking too. I don't know I ever saw him really mad. So it tells you just what a calm, good, strong person he was, and what a Christian. All of that. It gets tough, and that persona, which he was, but then he was, a gentle giant, was good to everybody. Just can't say enough positive. And like you said, unless you travel with them, and and you don't care what state in the country you're in, you go overseas, you go to Cabo with them, everybody knows them, and is aware of them, and all these other celebrities as well. I know looked up to him and appreciated his talent. This incredibly talented, smart, great guy.
Well, Bob, this has been great. Yeah, this has been great chatting about Toby, and I think I know the listeners and the fans of Oklahoma are going to appreciate hearing your words about Toby. Thanks for letting me be a part.
Yeah, I appreciate it, Barry. And that's because you can't really put this in a text, in an Instagram, in a Twitter or whatever. You just there's too much of them to talk about that's so special. That this way people can continue to get a better idea of the man he was, which was really incredible.